everyone, my name is Suzy and welcome to my channel, This Adulting Thing. I am so excited that you're here and I'm so excited to start sharing my content with you. Essentially, the purpose of this channel is to just talk about, discuss, basically rant about all the adult problems that we have to deal with, even though we don't feel like one. I am coming up to 30 now and here I am, still dressed in an elephant hoodie, which basically sums up adult life. I'm really excited to get started with this channel, so I would really appreciate your support. If you do like what you see on here, please like and subscribe, and there'll be plenty more where this came from. So, to tell you a little bit about me, so as you may tell from my accent, I am from Northern England originally. I now live in the Midlands. I've been here for about 5 years now. My background is in marketing and I still do freelance marketing, but primarily I work as a personal trainer and online coach, and I'm just a general all-round failing adult. Fun fact, I'm an avid EastEnders fan. I know what you're thinking, but once you're in it, you're in it. There's no going back. My favourite Ben & Jerry's flavour is chocolate fudge brownie. Maybe a little bit basic, but you know what, I'm here for it. I've also journaled for the past 15 plus years, which I first got into from watching Bridget Jones's Diary. If I learned anything from that movie, it was the value of Ben & Jerry's and journaling. So, as of the time of recording this, I am turning 29 in a few days, which is a pretty big thing because this is my final year before 30. You've probably seen that reel going around TikTok, Instagram, where Spongebob and Patrick are both running super quick, and Patrick is the 1994 baby and he gets lassoed and pulled back, and then Spongebob is the 1995 baby running away from turning 30. That is essentially me. I am Spongebob in this situation, and everyone always talks about turning 30. It's a big milestone birthday. There's all those cliches about 30, flirty, thriving. There's life begins at 30, or you really come into your own when you turn 30, but I just feel like that adds so much ridiculous pressure. Everyone always says your 20s are the time where you're meant to figure things out. Your 20s are when you're figuring out what you want to do, who you want to be. You should know who you are, where you're going, what your plan is. It's funny because when I was in school, I remember everyone always used to talk about the life plan, and mine was like, oh, I'll go to uni and then I'll be married at 22, I'll have a house at 23, I'll have kids by the time I'm 24, and everything will be great. And actually, it's really not like that at all. Being late 20s is still quite a bit of fumbling, trying to figure out how to be adult on the phone, how to set up bills and council tax, which is never fun. It takes time to get your ducks in a row, essentially. And I think when you don't have your ducks in a row, you start to think, am I falling behind? Am I on the right path? Am I doing the right things? And that makes things even more stressful. I said to myself, turning 29, it's not a big deal. I've got 1 year to 30, and what? I don't own a house. Yes, I am sat in an hoodie, and yes, I'm still kind of figuring out where my career is going from here, but I'm doing okay. I'm in a good place. Even though I told myself all of this, I feel like the little voice inside of me was also saying, yeah, you need to sort yourself out in a year. You have 1 year before you get to 30. And that is when everything's going to fall into place and you're going to be bang on track where you should be. The good thing is, for me personally, I don't want kids. I used to think I wanted kids, but I think it's because that was always the narrative and the plan that we kind of grew up with, especially as millennials. But once I actually thought about it, I'm not a particularly maternal person. I don't love the idea of having my own kids. So the lucky thing is I don't have the tick-tick-tock of the biological clock that a lot of women start to worry about when they get to the late 20s. I have a lot of friends who are maybe turned 30 already or late 20s. Some of them married and have kids. Some of them are still single. And it's kind of that whole pressure again of you turning 30, when you're getting married, when you're having kids, and when you're still single at that point, it can be quite stressful. I mean, I've got a boyfriend, but not everyone is ready to settle down. Sometimes the figuring out part still carries on into your 30s, and I think it probably will for me. I'd be very surprised if I turn 30 and I feel like my life is completely together. I think you can get to 40 and maybe your life isn't figured out. And when I was younger, I'd always look at the 30-year-olds or the 40-year-olds and think, oh my God, they are so adult. They have everything together. They know what they're doing. But I think actually everyone is just plodding along. They don't really have much idea. I mean, I do want to make a fuss when I turn 30, just because, I mean, come on. But I want to make a fuss in a positive way. I don't want to be piling on this, oh, life begins at 30, because I don't think it does. It begins when you are born. Whatever happens between when you're born and when you die, it's a process. It's still going to be a process. I do worry more about, am I wasting time? Am I not on track? What should I be doing? I think as you get older as well, there's also a lot of guilt about what you feel like you should be interested in. I've got a hoodie that I absolutely love, which has got the Powerpuff Girls on, and I kind of started to think, am I too old to be wearing this? Like, should I be wearing something a little bit more age appropriate? I still really like to read trashy novels. It's what I enjoy. I enjoy reading some trashy novels. It helps me wind down and relax after work. But there is still a judgment on, am I too old for that now? I decided to move away from marketing and become a personal trainer. And I remember at the time, quite a few people were sort of like, oh, personal training, that's a lovely hobby. When actually, this is kind of what I want to do for my career, but no one really took it seriously. Why? Because at the time I was 25, and by that point I should be in a stable career, have a stable job. But to me it was more important to do what I loved and follow my passion, rather than be stuck in some desk job because it was what was expected of me as someone who was becoming more adult and growing up. So the bottom line is, yes, I am turning 29 in a few days, but ultimately that is not gonna freak me out. I refuse to let it freak me out. I've got 1 year till 30, and what? Age is just a number. If you have had a milestone birthday recently, or if you're coming up to 30 or 40 or anything, I would love to know in the comments how you dealt with that, whether you felt that sort of pressure to be a certain way or do a certain thing, have your life figured out, or still be confused about what was going to happen next. I hope you enjoyed the first installment of this adulting thing. There's plenty more adult problems to discuss: relationships, dodgy dates, changing friendships, marriage, babies, the works. It's all going to be here, and if there's one thing I'm good at, it is just speaking my mind and keeping it real. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you soon.